Jacqueline Shavla. Karajari, my skin group is Karimba, sorry. I come from Bijirenga community, 150 km south of Bloom. I'm part of the Yiriman group, women's Yiriman group, and also is a Karajari Ranger.
My name is Wendy Way. I'm from Fitzroy. My skin is Nyavana.
I'm also taken from Fitzroy, but my mother and father come from Bush. I'm Nangadik Kin.
My name's Annie Milligan. My Aboriginal name is Nina. I'm a Yikina woman, and I'm from Jalmutanka community. We started off in 2000 because there was the biggest worry for us, our young people. So the old people was our founder, and they gave us, well, this is what you're gonna do. We don't need money, but we're gonna, we're gonna start this thing soon as possible. But we're gonna take our kids back to country. We're gonna call it Yiriman. So Yiriman is just south of Derby. We started off first. So we took our young ones, showed them where their grandfather, where their grandmothers walked from the desert, and who they connect to, and all these things. And that's why Karajari, Walmajari came together. We worked together. So I'm really proud, and we all here, having a workshop. The Kare getting ideas from us, we're gonna try to build that.
Yue, Oyukarawara, Najugureni Pajijanu. So I'm a Walmajari and Yorling person from the Great Sandy Desert.
I'm Alison White. I'm the visiting specialist with the Kimberley Palliative Care Service.
I want to go back to country because we can feel the spirit. They're all there. We can feel them. That's why every native come, we wanted to go back to that place, Nagwari, and be with them, all people, We always go there, and as soon as we speak in our language, they'll know. They'll say, oh, that we know that girl. That's for me, and if I go there, we know that girl is Nyabana. We know her.
Our country is our home, our belonging, our mob. So we always respect the traditional owners of the country like that we're in. Yeah, so my mum's mum, my jaja, grandmother, she taught me my traditional language, and so did her sister. And so I was around a lot of elders, a lot of women since I was a child. Yeah, it was an honor to be around, strong, amazing Walmajari women and also other language groups. I spent a lot of time in a few remote communities, and I also spent a lot of my childhood out on the edge of the Great Sandy Desert. Yeah, so when we first moved out there, we didn't have houses or anything. We had bough sheds. Most of my schooling in the remote community schools. Yeah, so English wasn't really an issue because we had Aboriginal educators. But I guess my grandparents, without realising it themselves, were building me up for this role. They'd spent so much time and effort teaching me language and culture and medicine and seeds and animals. They believed in me at the very beginning.
That's why we can get our learning from them, all people.
I'm not good at explaining things because, like I said earlier, I was never taught to explain or to ask questions. It was always demonstration. That's how you learnt. And then I struggled again at school. Explain this or describe this. It's like we never, I know what it is, I just couldn't explain it. It's so tricky.
In those days, they used to have corroborees and things like that, And us young kids, we used to follow them. We used to see old people dancing, old ladies, And we used to join in as a kid. Well, I started working at the station, learning to wash plates and all that, cleaning up, how to look after your house and then. Manager wife used to teach him us how to keep yourself clean.
It makes you feel like, you who you are and where you stand, and it makes you feel more stronger. It's like a identity, My kids have a different skin from me, but their kids will be the same skin to me. All that goes around, it's like a big circle, You get your skin group anyway from your mother's side. We do this through our tradition, culture, and law. If my mom passed away, and I can't, and her sisters, I can't say anything, like we have to accept what's going on with her and the hospital and back home, and our kids, me and my brothers and sisters have to accept that. So they're the ones who do all the work while we sit down, and then so it goes for every skin group. You have. If I pass away, my sisters will do that for me, and brothers. Mom passed away, her sisters, it's all like that. So my cousin passed away, we work with my cousin as well, see.
With non-Indigenous people, it's sort of their role, and to ask about what's going on with their mum, and you want to do everything you can for your mum. When I say grandmother or sister, I'm not talking about my immediate family. There's no way I'd interpret. So a sister could be someone I'm connected to through the kinship system. We'll have the same skin name, so therefore she's my sister. I can interpret for her, similar to my grandmother. So she could be a grandmother from extended family, some cultural connection I have to her, I could interpret for her.
My grandmother, my mom's mom, has the same skin with me, and her husband is different skin, see. I learned bush medicine from my mother. It's passed on from her grandmother, then the mother, her mother, then to her, and then it comes down to the next generation. My daughter would be the right one to pass it on to. But most of the trees that I collect, making my ointments, and I go onto the Google or read plant books, and they have the western side of how the tree can heal people as well. So I know that I'm getting the right tree and what it's the right thing for. The tea tree, we use our tea tree. They're good for pains. So we make our oils out of the tea tree and the eucalyptus tree and just rub it for aches and pains. I had bad osteoarthritis, just stops the pain. So I feel much better walking around. I got really sick and I started getting, as I was coughing, I had pain and I don't know what that pain was. So I said, because I had tablets, but some people don't like having tablets. So I just rubbed my eucalyptus and tea tree oil on my chest, round and up behind my back where I was getting the pain, and all that the pain went away in 2 days and I felt all right. It's also good for drinking. Feeling sick inside your guts. You can drink the bark water. You drink it a little bit with a bit of honey just to make the taste all right, and then you just sip it on slowly, and so it's good for drinking. End of life, he doesn't or she doesn't like the pain, just rub a bit of the oil and it might be a bit good for him or her to, slow down the pain in their body.
Partner with me to Perth, and they told him that we only can give you medicine. So they brought him back to Fitzroy, and I make medicine for him, boil some medicine, and the medicine is healing him. And they said to him, oh, you'll never walk again, but he can walk from the home where I'm in Fitzroy to the shop. I take white man's medicine. They're all right. They're not doing any damage. Yeah, but most of my time I like to have my own bush medicine, so I can feel the healing in my body. Well, that food, then by eating all the fatty things like we eat these days, they want that bush meat, like kangaroo or probably iguana, snake.
Turkey.
Because they haven't grown up with that thing. And they're longing for that first food. Them old people. But we haven't got any liaison office in Fitzroy. So whoever gone with that person to travel down to Perth or Broome or wherever, that person got to be with that person. So you can tell us what's going on, Maybe say my sister got down there and he have his oldest daughter with her, so the doctor can have a talk with her. And when she come back, she can give us whatever doctor told her, and we'll be aware of that. But we don't get those help like those, My young sister, she live in Derby. She went to Perth on her own. She had nobody. And they, took one of her leg.
Some of the basic rules would be the eye contact. That's just plain and simple. Just look quickly and then look away. Just sitting here, face to face, giving each other eye contact, it just makes us feel really uncomfortable. The opposite sex, so even I feel uncomfortable when I have to see a male doctor. It's my culture, it's the way I've been brought up. I guess they're lucky now they've got Aboriginal liaison officers that they can go to ask these cultural questions. They have interpreters with the language barrier. They've got it, pretty easy, so they shouldn't have all these things going on in their head. For health professionals, there's support in every hospital with the cultural questions and cultural awareness. Majority of your patients are Aboriginal, at least have the cultural awareness and understanding. It'll make their work a lot easier. Just because your patient is nodding and smiling through the whole consultation doesn't necessarily mean that the patient understands you.
That Aboriginal patients may just nod or say yes, or may not feel comfortable to ask questions, which can be very difficult from a practitioner point of view, because this is how we usually interact with our patients.
I don't know, I just go along with them.
What he said.
And I know they don't understand, since I was a little kid, and then they'd go home and oh, what did that doctor say? Or how many tablets was I meant to take? But you were just nodding and saying yes. We get that all the time, especially with family meetings, particularly in end-of-life stuff. So everyone else is all nodding and agreeing, and then as soon as the doctor leaves, we're all looking at each other what did they say? What's happening? And then, there's one out of 20 of us that sort of got snippets of what the doctor said.
She sit quiet. The doctor will be talking, but she'll never understand what he's saying. What he was saying, just going through in and out.
If you're ever in doubt, then you should definitely get an interpreter in. Another way of finding out whether you need to engage an interpreter, whether there's a language barrier there, is to ask the patient to repeat back what you just said in their own words. I think an interpreter should be requested at the very, very beginning of a consultation. So palliative care, for example, I'd love to be involved at the beginning interpreting rather than end of life. I think, yeah, getting a family member to interpret is really unfair. It's not their job. They're dealing with their own, they're grieving as well. Even if the patient actually does speak quite good English, it's still often helpful to check in with them if they would like to have an interpreter or just to have an interpreter available outside of the family unit. It's culturally inappropriate for me to be interpreting for my mum anyways, because there's certain things that the doctor may ask that I can't interpret because of the relationship. Also, when requesting an interpreter, say to your patient, the interpreter's for me because I don't speak your language. So I guess if they engaged us at the very beginning, Aboriginal people would understand their options. They could ask questions if they had any. Health professionals are their consultations are rushed, and so I think that's why they've bypassed using interpreters as well. Some people think that it takes too long, wouldn't you rather get the message across the first time and not have that patient come back so many times after that presenting with the same illness? I feel, it's a privilege and an honour to be recognised as a professional interpreter and to see the difference that you make. You see their face light up as soon as you speak their language. Over 40 languages that's still spoken in the Kimberley. It's frustrating that health professionals assume that we all speak English. I started speaking English fluently at the age of 14. My grandfather's like, don't ask questions, just see, and then I'm getting told at school, ask questions if you know this. So I'm just like in my head like, a lot of us just nod and agree. And I got into trouble a lot with the supervisors because I didn't say please and thank you. So in my family, we never say please or thank you, not because, we're being rude or ungrateful. We just say these things with actions. And just show appreciation. It's also important to establish rapport and get to know patients and their families early. We don't want to feel like we're not smart enough. We're not good enough because we don't speak English very well. Just to be polite and nod and just agree with everything. Ensuring that there's a safe space for patients, providing lots of periods of silence so that if they feel that they might be able to open up, they've got that opportunity.
Say my daughter is really, really sick and ready to die. I can't go and, I can go see her, but I get my other daughter. She's the one that will be someone speak to, getting all the information from here and feeding back, See, that's why we, through a skin group, It's quite difficult for the palliative care services to be involved late.
Particularly in the Kimberley region, patients may be in remote communities where it's just physically difficult for us to get medications, syringe drivers, equipment and the like out to those regions. So the earlier we know and the sooner that we can plan, the better. Certainly I think advanced malignancies or metastatic malignancies, certainly chronic organ failure, for example, chronic renal failure, heart failure and emphysema, chronic respiratory diseases are very common as well within the Aboriginal population. And so I think that the palliative care service has a key role to play there, particularly for patients who have made decisions not to travel down to Perth for ongoing treatment, for whom dialysis may no longer be appropriate, or who are starting to fail on dialysis, for patients who are reaching the end of their treatments for conditions like heart failure, chronic respiratory diseases.
You know, doctors are really, you know, talking to the family, what the families are going through, and they're letting us know that someone gonna pass away, but you know, we're happy about that, like not before. Sometimes people can't understand when you're talking. Get the interpreter to sit down and explain to the families. We gotta work together, and you know, there's a lot of things, not only our ways, but we're gonna do it, you know. I always say that 2 ways. You know, we will learn from Gadia, so the Gadia gotta learn from us. Gadia means, like, we don't say white people, you know?
Yeah.
We don't say that, that's rude. But Gadia is more, you know?
It's just about working together, you know, and it's a two-way learning. Like, we'll teach you as much as you teach us, you know, we'll learn from you as much as you learn from us.
Palliative care is everybody's responsibility. I think there is a tendency sometimes to think that it's somebody else is going to be asking the questions and somebody else is going to be talking with patients about what's important to them. But in fact, this is not necessarily the case. It's really important to begin these discussions with patients to find out what information they want to know, what they're comfortable with hearing, and where appropriate with patients to begin these conversations early, and to start advanced care planning to figure out what is going to be important for patients. This can't be just the responsibility of the palliative care team. We want to engage with the local services, with GPs, with specialists, with the community nursing staff, the remote area nurses, and it's really important that everybody is involved in these conversations so that we are getting this information through to patients.
Is this rude to talk about death and dying, or does it just depend on the person?
It depends on the person. Die, you know, and that's not a good word. You know, it's such a big shocking for people. But pass away is a good word.
When you die, you can call that person's name for a long time. Not even now you can call that person's name. They'll change your name around, you know, or give you an Aboriginal name.
Sorry business is the person that passed away. This is my from my you know, what I've learned. When the time comes for the person to be buried, family get together. They walk around and they just cry. The family that sits in the front, husband, wife, or they're in the middle, and all the other families, nephews or nieces, they sit in the back. So they go around. They just hug them and cry. Yeah. If I'm really sick and doctor can't tell me I can't fix you up, well, like I can say, well, I'll go back to my country and you know, finish up in my country.
Going out there in the country and being with your own families, even your grandkids, you know, and telling stories, what's going on. Whoever's sick in our family, we take that person out with us to be with our family too. Have a campfire and have a yarn with one another. But we know that person is sick, but we keep it inside our own feeling, you know?
understanding who are the important people that we should be engaging with within their family structure. This enables us to determine what is going to be important for those patients. Using interpreters to make sure that you're understood and that you're understanding the patient as much as possible, and then engaging with the local service providers. So for patients who are down in Perth, getting in touch with the Kimberley Palliative Care Service early, asking about what services are available out there and sending referrals through early so that we can try and engage as many services as possible.